Shalom, family.
We want to talk with you all about the book of Enoch and why it was removed from the scriptures. You know, the book of Enoch has some very deep mysteries in it. And those mysteries tie into these last days. So I would tell everyone that's listening to this message to go out and purchase yourself a copy of the book of Enoch. Okay?
Yes, it's very important that we get into this information because, again, it's very telling of what's happening in the last days. We shouldn't be afraid of knowledge.
That's right.
We'll go out and get any other book, novel, or college book, and they teaching all kinds of stuff. But when it comes to things like this, we tend to shy away from it.
That's right.
Because we've heard something and we just don't want to deal with it. And one of those things that people are so afraid to deal with is some of the content in the book of Enoch.
That's right.
In particular, we're going to talk about Noah and his appearance. Now, according to the book of Enoch, Noah was, he had white skin, colorful eyes, and blonde hair. Okay, that was Noah. But it's not that people are afraid of, because if that's all it was, then we wouldn't have no problems, right? Everybody will be okay. Let's get the book of Enoch out there to the world. It's the other information, which we brought this out in Whited Out Part 1, and some of you may have missed it. But when you really pay attention to the part that is really of concern to people, what's really going on is when Noah's parents responded in fear, that's really why they didn't want this book out there. Because then you'll start to say, why would they respond in fear? If Noah's parents were white, why would they be afraid of a white baby? Then something else is going on, right?
That's right.
Something else is going on. Noah was not white as in European, okay? Noah was white as in albino, okay?
Right.
So when his parents saw him, the scripture actually says that they responded in fear. They were like, is this our child? He looks like one of the children of the angels. He does not look like mankind. His skin is white, his eyes are colorful, and his hair is blonde.
That's right.
Did y'all hear what we just said?
That's right.
In the book of Enoch, it says he does not look like mankind. He looks like one of the children of the angels.
That's right.
Who did we just describe here? That's why they wanted those books removed.
Yeah.
Because when you start to think about what Noah's parents, Lamech, and his mom were really afraid of, they weren't used to seeing white people at that time. So they responded in fear. They had to go inquire. They said, we need you to ask the Most High, what is this my wife is giving birth to?
They thought he was one of the children of the fallen.
Because that was during...
What it was, yeah. Because they were seeing the fallen angels, the children of the fallen angels.
Yep.
And so he was like, man, this child, my wife was with God, it looked like one of the fallen angels. It's one of the children of the fallen angels. So he was really concerned about that, you see.
And notice the scripture says, as it was in the days of Noah, it's going to be just like that in the end times,
in the end times, that's right.
Just like that in the end times. So what was going on in the days of Noah? You had the sons of God, which were the angels, coming in unto the daughters of men.
That's right.
And they were producing children with them. Now, a lot of you say, well, they were producing giants. That was the mutation back then, okay? Just because they're not giant-like babies being born doesn't mean anything, because remember, and they probably had some normal-sized children too, because that's why Noah's parents were like, he looks like one of the children of the angels.
That's right.
But Noah went on to have 3 black sons.
That's right.
In which, again, we explained a lot of this in Whited Out Part 1.
And after some days my son Methuselah took a wife for his son Lamech, and she became pregnant by him and bore a son. And his body was white as snow, and red as the blooming of a rose. And the hair of his head and his long locks were white as wool, and his eyes beautiful. And when he opened his eyes, he lighted up the whole house like the sun. And the whole house was very bright. And thereupon he arose in the hands of the midwife, opened his mouth, and conversed with the Lord of righteousness. And his father Lamech was afraid of him, and fled, and came to his father Methuselah. And he said unto him, I have begotten a strange son, diverse from and unlike man, and resembling the sons of God in heaven. And his nature is different, and he is not like us. And his eyes are as the rays of the sun, and his countenance is glorious. And it seems to me that he is not sprung from me, but from the angels. And I fear that in his days a wonder may be wrought on the earth. And now, my Father, I am here to petition thee and implore thee that thou mayest go to Enoch, our father, and learn from him the truth.
If a black couple has an albino child today, is that child considered black or white? We all know that they're still considered black, even with the presence of white skin. This albino offspring is still capable of producing children with normal brown skin. This was the case of Noah. Noah was a black albino man with a black wife and had black children, and we will prove this. Notice how Noah's father Lamech responded to him at his birth. He responded in abject fear. He wondered why his son's skin was white. He questioned if he was the child of angels, and doubted that he even belonged to him. His concern was that his son looked nothing like him or his wife.
There was something that took place in the world that brought about the lighter populations.
That's right.
And if you start to study, instead of just running off of feelings and emotions, and actually study, you will see for yourself. Even so-called white people say that they are children of the angels. Look up Jay-Z Knight.
Yeah, they always calling themselves, this my little angel, you know.
Yep,
they've been saying that for the longest. All you got to do is look up the word Anglo-Saxon.
Mm-hmm. And just look it up, period. Many of them already know that they are children of the angels.
That's right.
This is not a joke. This is not hate speech. This is information that a lot of people are aware of. And this is information that a lot of white people are proud of. And so we're just telling you, especially our people, instead of getting angry and upset when you hear these things and thinking that we're preaching out of the side of our neck, why don't you just research the stuff, okay? There is a reason why they wanted these books removed, because there were other things that were talked about in the book of Enoch as well. You see, instead of running from these books in fear, study the stuff, and so it'll start to make sense what you see happening in the world today.
That's right.
Everything will start to make sense if you did start to study these other books.
That's right. Yeah, you know, it's a lot of information in the book of Enoch that tells you about these fallen ones, these fallen angels, and the children, and the things that the fallen angels brought into the world. Yeah. They brought a lot of the wicked inventions and stuff you see in the world today is here because of the fallen angels.
Yes.
Do you know how many people have actually entertained fallen angels and have gotten the ideas of making all these kind of gadgets and things that we even deal with on a regular basis?
Yes.
Huh? Look at some of the stuff that they're doing. The stuff that they're doing now is incredible. Technology is absolutely incredible right now. If I were to take some of this technology back 100 years, people wouldn't believe it. Okay? They got holograms now that they can put a person right in your room there, and you would think that person was really there, or you would think he was like a ghost of a person in your room there. They got this kind of ability.
And you can converse with this hologram.
Yeah, converse with it and everything. You see, they got this kind of technology now.
Yeah.
So we got to look at all of this stuff. This stuff came from the fallen angels.
Yes.
They the one that set the pace for all of these things that you see going on. Of course, with Satan guiding them and doing this thing, they working in hand in hand with the devil. That's why the scripture calls them the children of Satan. It says that he said you are of your father the devil because you want to do the work of your father, which was wicked. You see. Yes. So basically it gets deep. Look at the book of Enoch. Read the book of Enoch. It tells you about some very, very deep things.
So when you look in the New Testament even, it says, be careful how you entertain strangers, because some have entertained angels unawares.
Now, get this here. Now, why would Shaul make this statement? Because Shaul, they probably had the book of Enoch back then. I'm telling you that Paul, and all, from what I was reading, the book of Enoch was probably something common that a lot of them had. Get this here. Okay? Shaul made this statement. He said, though we or an angel, right, preach to you any other message than what we have received, what you have received from us, then let him be accursed. Why did you say angel? How come you didn't say if another person come and teach to you anything else? He said if an angel even come. Because Paul was fully aware that angels were still doing this thing.
Now you even have the incubus and the succubus spirit, which are demons that one goes in unto men and another goes in unto women. And these are sex demons. You see,
That's right.
They deal with people in their sleep. And so the demon world, the spirit world, the angelic world is alive and well. And people want to live in a flat dimension to where they think it's only humans on this earth. But there are other things happening on this earth as well.
That's
and
right.
Back to the incubus and succubus. We've heard testimonies, there's articles and videos where you can look on YouTube, look on the internet, where people are actually saying that these for men, I think it says it will actually kill them if they engage with this demon too much. And for women, they were actually saying that they've been impregnated by this spirit.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying? Impregnated. So when you see movies like Demon Seed and stuff like that, it just might be some truth to that, because the Most High already said in His Word.
That's right.
In Genesis, it says that I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed.
Satan has a seed.
Yes.
Now, you know what's amazing? There was a movie that came out years ago called, what was that movie?
The Bad Son?
No,
Bad Son?
Entity.
Okay, yes.
The Entity. That movie was about this demon that was showing up in this lady's house, raping her all the time. Okay, that's what was going on. That's right. That stuff was, and I'm telling you, I've heard testimonies of women. I'm telling you, some strange stuff is going on. These
Yes,
demons are showing
exactly.
up and they attacking people and doing things. And I'm telling you, so we got to understand that these demons are still doing these things. These fallen angels are
Fallen
doing
angels,
things.
if that's what you want to call them.
And I tell you, it's just amazing. I had my brother, before he passed, he told me about how sometimes he would go and he would be out in the streets and he'd be preaching his truth, basically, And he was telling me how sometimes he would go to the library to try to get the Book of Enoch, and these librarians would hide the book from him.
Wow.
Now, are you hearing me?
That, yes.
They were hiding the book from him. He said he had to go above them because he kept telling them, I know the book is here. I know it's here. The Book of Enoch, and they kept saying,
showing on your system that it's here.
He would look at the computer, it was showing on it, and they would go and couldn't find it, whatever, right?
I'm sorry,
and he said he had to go above to the bosses, and they went and got the book for him and say, here's the book. And he was like, man, he went through all of that just to take the book out. He said, each time he'd go get the book, they would act funny about him taking that book out. You see that? That's the demons in them.
Yes.
That knew that he was going to find the truth out about them. You see? Now, there's one more point I want to bring out about the Book of Enoch. There's this passage in the Book of Enoch that's very, very creepy. It talks about how in the last days, the children of the fallen angels would bring this tyranny upon mankind in the last days.
Yes. What do we see happening today?
Yeah.
The whole planet is being terrorized right now as we speak.
That's right. So that's the reason why they were trying to keep you away from the Book of Enoch. And there's much more in the Book of Enoch than even that. But when you get to reading,
that passage?
Yeah, let's go to it. Matter of fact, we'll read it. Here it is. If I still have it, I think I left the part. Here, let me go back. Okay.
Yeah, but the book is very deep, very, very deep. It's going to open up the eyes of your understanding even more. A lot of people are just so stuck in the King James Version, and they don't desire any knowledge beyond that. That's why you can't really grow until you get more understanding and knowledge of what's going on in the world. And this is why people are, just kind of stuck in this flat mode of Christianity, and they can't grow beyond that because they don't want to go beyond the 66 books of the KJV. I've heard people have so much allegiance and reverence for the King James Version. It's crazy. You got to get beyond the King James Version and do a little study. And the scripture says, study to show yourself approved.
That's right.
Do we have the scripture here?
Yeah, here it is here, but I kind of want to read a little bit before this. I'm going to let you read it, though.
Okay. All right.
Okay, right here.
I wish the writing was a little bit bigger, so I'll just lean in here.
Let me make it bigger from here.
Okay.
Well, it didn't get much bigger, but
Okay, I'll just lean in. How far do you want me to read?
From Michael, from here, 15 to there.
Okay, so this is chapter 10, verses 15 through 18. Okay, to Michael likewise Yah said, go and announce his crime to Semyaza and to the others who are with him, who have been associated with women, that they might be polluted with all their impurity. And when all their souls shall be slain, when they shall...
all their sons, I'm sorry. When all their sons shall be slain...
Thank you, sweetheart.
Sorry. It's a little small on the screen. It says, when they shall see the perdition of their beloved, bind them for 70 generations underneath the earth, even to the day of judgment and consummation until the judgment and consummation until the judgment, the effect of which will last forever be completed. Then shall they be taken away into the lowest depths of the fire and torments, and in confinement shall they be shut up forever. Immediately after this shall he together with them burn and perish, for they shall be bound until the consummation of many generations. Destroy all the souls addicted to the alliance and the and the offspring of the watchers, for they tyrannize over mankind. For they have tyrannized over mankind.
Wow.
You see that in the last, so it's letting you know that their children of their offspring are the ones that's doing all this hell in the world you see today.
Terrorizing.
That's their offspring. That's right.
Tyrannize is tyranny.
That's right.
Terrorizing.
That's right. All this terrorism. Persecuting.
Killing.
Slavery.
Genociding.
Yeah.
They're terrorizing mankind.
That's right. That's the children of the Watchers. That's right.
So
isn't that amazing?
It is. It is.
But guess what? It's Esau too, though.
Right.
That's right. Esau's seed was spoiled.
Esau's seed was spoiled. It was mixed with all of this.
That's right.
And that's why they look vastly different than we do. And a lot of people want to say, well, Esau and Jacob, they were brothers. Right. But when you understand that something has taken place in this planet, there is a reason why you have people looking like this and people looking like that.
That's right.
Because even Japheth, a lot of people think that there was a black son, a Chinese son, and a white son, because that's what was taught to us. That's one of those bald-faced lies that were taught. Noah and his wife, Noah the albino, and his black wife had 3 black sons. But something took place on the planet to where a lot of the people on the planet have been whited out. Esau did not always look like the so-called white man. Japheth did not always look like the so-called white man.
That's right.
Even the Asians today, they didn't always have pale skin that you see today. Something has taken place.
The Native Americans, not just Native Americans, you got the Mexicans, you got Latinos, you got all of those nations that look like that.
Now, many of them know this. Many of them know this. So we're not telling you something that they are not already teaching themselves. But the problem is, in Christianity, they have you thinking one way because they want to steer you away from the book of Enoch, because they don't want you to know that the fallen angels look like them and their children. This is why white people want these books removed. And we're not preaching hate. We're not speaking. Many of you know this.
Now,
you see?
Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to drop this in there and you do your research, okay? Research Genghis Khan.
Yes.
Now, Genghis Khan, look into the legend of Genghis Khan, okay? Go beyond all that other junk that you see there and just research the legend. The legend that's being taught over there about Genghis Khan. And what you're going to find out is they believe that an angel that had blonde hair and blue eyes came in unto his mother.
Which was a black woman.
That's right. And gave birth to Genghis Khan, who looked, how did he look? They said he had red hair and bright colored eyes.
And then he went forth and he conquered in the Asian territory.
He conquered everywhere. They say he had so many doggone wives and women that he took of other nations. That's why they're reporting now that if they do what is that, genetics? What is that called?
A DNA search.
DNA.
As a matter of fact.
If they do that, they're saying that something like, man, I think they were saying like 2 out of 5 or 1 out of 5 Asians may have descendants of Genghis Khan.
If you look at the series, it's a series on the barbarians. It gives you a lot of that good history to understand what happened. So a lot of times they'll show you an image of a Chinese man as Genghis Khan. He actually appeared more white. Okay.
That's right.
And when he put his offspring throughout that land, throughout that region, over time, as you've seen in every other land, they get whited out more and more. People start off so dark. A lot of the Native Americans were darker than us.
That's right.
A lot of the Asians were darker than us. A lot of these people were darker than we are. But whiting out has taken place all over the planet. We just wanted to expound on this a bit because a lot of people don't see the book of Enoch as being valid. And that's because they're afraid of what's in the book. That's
right. But don't be afraid. It's just like people were afraid of Revelations, right? Mm-hmm. In fact, the scripture tells you, blessed are they that readeth, right? And so you need to read the book of Enoch. You need to read it for yourself. It's a long book. I'm going to tell you that now. It's a long book.
And it's well worth the read.
Well worth the read.